All right, I'd like to welcome back Joe Manniello, Newsday's NFL pick columnist. Joe, how you doing?
Doing all right, Matt. How are you?
Doing pretty good. It was a tough week last week for both of us. We both went 2-4, which brings me to 19-12, and you to 13-18. So hopefully a little bit of better luck this week.
Yeah, tough week.
Absolutely. So let's jump into it. We have the Giants and the Eagles on Thursday Night Football. Eagles are favored by 4.5. Who do you like here?
Yeah, I don't really have a great feel on this game. These NFC East games usually tend to be close, so I'm going to take the 4.5 points just because the Eagles have a ton of injuries, and I mean Carson Wentz has been under pressure all year. I think if the Giants can get to him, they can definitely cover. I mean, 4.5 is a weird number because you feel like you're tempted to take that because it might be a 3-point game, but usually if you think the team's going to win, you just lay the 4.5. I don't really feel confident taking the Eagles. Like I said, they have tons of injuries. They played to a tie at home against the Bengals earlier this year. They're 2-4 against the spread. And the Giants, I think they're the better team, but the Giants, they just won their first game. And somehow they didn't cover 2.5-point favorites. They win by 1. Unbelievable.
Right.
But I'll take the points. The Eagles have won 7 in a row and like 11-12 against the Giants, but 5 of those 7 have been like one-score games. 3, 4, 5 points. So I think it'll be a tight game, and the winner will be basically right in the hunt for first place with Dallas, which is that just ridiculous division, NFC East.
Yeah,
so I'll take the 4.5 points, but I don't feel confident about it.
Okay, yeah, I hear you on that one, and the NFC East is definitely still up for grabs, which is sad with all these records. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I'm not super confident in it either, to be honest with you. Eagles minus 4.5. But like you said, the Eagles have just had the Giants number, and I think that this could be a game where they're getting back on track a little bit. I know they're really banged up. But I think if ever this team is going to get it into gear and look semi-functioning, and if Carson Wentz starts to turn his season around, this would be the game to do it. And I think on the short week, I'd rather go with Carson Wentz than Daniel Jones. Again, not super confident in it, but I think the Eagles win this one by a touchdown.
Okay.
As for the Bills and the Jets, the other local, they are playing Sunday at 1 o'clock. Are we sticking with the pick against the Jets, Joe?
I think we are. What's the spread now? It's 13, 12.5?
13 we have it at.
Yeah, unbelievable, 13 points. Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo. The Jets are 0-6 against the spread. I'm 5-1 picking their games. The one loss is when I took them week 1 at Buffalo, thinking that they can keep that close. That game was, I think it was 27-17 final or 27-10?
Yeah, 27.
Was it 27 what?
17
or 17?
17. Yeah.
Yeah, 17. But it wasn't even that close. They scored like a garbage time touchdown, the Jets. 13 points is a lot, but there's just no reason to take the Jets. They lost 24-0 last week at Miami. Next week they play at Kansas City. That line opened at like minus 22, and it's going to go up.
That's crazy.
I just think there's no reason to take the Jets. I mean, why would you take them? Darnold isn't playing. There are a bunch of backup guys. Gase is infighting with Greg Williams. You got to think the morale of the team is down and out. This just looks like an 0-16 team. I don't see a win on their schedule. I don't see any fight in this team at all. And the Bills, plenty of reason to take the Bills. They just lost back-to-back games on national TV against the Titans and the Chiefs, who were in the AFC Championship game last year. They were combined 10-1. There's nothing wrong with losing to those teams. And now you got the Jets, which is the exact opposite. So I think they're going to beat up on them. I think maybe the Bills defense might, say, hey, Miami shut them out last week. Let's go shut them out ourselves. So, if the Jets get shut out again, I would not be surprised. So I'm going like 34-3 kind of game. I think it's going to be a blowout. So take the Bills. Don't worry about the big number. Just have confidence that the Jets will continue to stink.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I don't see any way the Jets keep this one close. They are selling off pieces left and right. As you mentioned, Gase and Greg Williams are fighting. It's probably going to be the Joe Flacco show again this week, and I really don't think this is close at all. Buffalo, like you said, they're coming off a couple of tough losses against two really quality teams, and the Jets are just downright bad, and they could beat up on this team. In week 1, they only won by 10, but that game was not as close as what the score indicated. It really was a blowout, and they scored a garbage time fluky touchdown to Jamison Crowder in that one. I think this is going to be like a 41-10 game. I really think Buffalo can do some damage against this Jets defense, who I mean, at this point, they're pretty much mailing it in. So I don't like the Jets at all. I'm going to take the Bills minus 13 and not worry about the number.
Yep.
As for the game of the week, Steelers and Titans should be a good matchup. Titans are favored by 1. Who do you like?
Yeah, it should be a great one. 5-0 versus 5-0. It was going to be 3-0 versus 3-0 a couple weeks ago, but they got pushed back because of the Titans COVID test. So it's pretty cool that they're still unbeaten. It's a toss-up game. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think their defense is going to be able to stop that, slow down Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill just enough. They played the Texans, which is really bad defense, and the Bills game was shocking. I thought the Bills would win that game, but I guess maybe the whole playing off the whole fact that they had in practice only a couple times in 2 weeks, and they're building up this whole underdog thing for some reason, even though they went to the title game last year. Maybe it's the Vrabel Belichick thing,
right?
But Vrabel's a really good coach, and it should be a close game. But I'm going to take the Steelers. They did lose Devin Bush, the top linebacker, which hurts them, but I think they have too many weapons on both sides. They have T.J. Watt, they have Joe Hayden, and Roethlisberger's playing well. James Conner, the rookie Chase Claypool's playing really well. They have too many weapons, I think, in the passing game, and I think the defense can limit the Titans just enough. So I think it's a close game, like a 30-27, 27-24 kind of game. I like the Steelers to keep it going, and they just crushed the Browns last week. And I know you had mentioned they hadn't really beaten anyone. That's true, but you can't play anyone not in your schedule. And I just think that they're the more complete team. I think the Titans will fall back to earth a little bit after 2 of these emotional wins at home, the overtime win and the win over Buffalo. So I think I hate to say they're due. I don't like that saying, but I won't say that they're due. But I just think that they're on such a high right now. You see that a lot in the NFL when the team's on such a high, and the next week they come out a little flat. So I think that can definitely happen here. So I'll take the Steelers to win outright.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Titans this week, and I think this is a really tough matchup. And, I mean, obviously the Vegas feels the same way with the spread they put out there. I absolutely love what Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans, has done. Ryan Tannehill looks like a completely different player. Derrick Henry is running mad seemingly every week. I know Pittsburgh's defense is tremendous. I think this is just going to be, a really back and forth game. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give the slight edge to the home team in the Tennessee Titans. And I think they win this one. I'll say 24-21, just a field goal difference.
Sure.
How about a best bet this week? Who do you like?
All right, best bet. I'm going to go with the. Not going to try to get too cute here and just pick a game that I think the favorite team is going to blow out the other team. So I'm going to go with the L.A. Chargers. I think it's -9 or -8.5 at home against the Jaguars. Just double check that at the late game. They were on the bye last week, the Chargers. They were supposed to play the Jets, which is kind of the same thing as being on the bye. But now they got the Jaguars, who are probably the second worst team after the Jets. They've lost 5 in a row after that week 1 surprise against the Colts, and they've given up over 30 points in every game. I think Justin Herbert is finally going to get that first win. He's 0-4, even though he's played really, really well. And they should have beaten the Saints on Monday night 2 weeks ago, another heartbreaking loss for that Chargers franchise.
Yep.
And they should have beaten the Chiefs in his first start when it was a surprise start when Tyrod Taylor got hurt. So I think Herbert is going to have a big game. The Jaguars defense can't stop anyone. And the Chargers are just a complete team. They have lots of, similar to the Steelers, they have a lot of playmakers. Just, obviously they're not as good. They just can't find a way to win. But I think this is, off a bye, just a bad situation for the Jaguars. They've looked awful. I think Herbert has a huge game, maybe even 5 touchdowns, and they win this game like 38-10 kind of game. So it's a big number, but there's a reason why it's a big number. So I love the Chargers.
Right. It is -9, by the way, and I'm there with you. I like the Chargers a lot this week. I'm going in a different direction. I'm going to take the Patriots -2 over the 49ers. I don't think Bill Belichick is going to let this thing unravel. And while the 49ers got back in the win column against the Rams, I think that like I said, Belichick, I just don't see him continuing to lose these games. I think he's going to be able to get this thing figured out. It's a home game. They don't usually tend to lose at home too often. So it was a little bit of a surprise that it happened to the Broncos there. I don't think they let that mistake happen again. So I'm going to take the Patriots -2 as my best bet.
Gotcha.
How about an underdog this week?
Yeah, there's a couple games I like, but I'm going to go with the Monday night game, the Bears. I think they're getting 5.5 at the Rams. I don't think the Bears are like an elite team, 5-1. I don't think they're a top 5 team. I think that record is a little misleading. They had that 2 crazy comebacks against the the Lions in week 1 and the Falcons, I think, week 3. But I like them in this matchup. Jared Goff has struggled against the Bears, even though the Rams won last year. In 2 starts, he has 0 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions, and it's like a 33 point something QB rating, 33.3 or 33.9, and they just have his number. I feel like, having played him the last two years, they know him and they know the system. So I think it's gonna be a close game. I mean, if the Rams win, I won't be surprised. But I think the 5.5 number is just way too many points. I think it's a close game. I think the Bears can actually win, and it's all about the Bears defense. They're playing really well, and Nick Foles will keep them in the game. So I think low scoring, like a 23-20 kind of game, 2017. And I think the Bears could even win. So I'll take the Bears plus 5.5 as my top underdog play.
Yeah, I like the Bears a lot too. That line's at +6 for the Bears now. I'm going to play that as well. For my underdog pick, I'm actually going to go with the Carolina Panthers +9 over the Saints.
I 9 now? I thought it was like 7.5. Wow.
Yeah, it moved up to 9 in that one. So that's definitely going to be.
That should tell you to stay away, though. That means all the money's coming on this team.
I know that's scary, but I'm going to do it with the Panthers. I'm a big Matt Rule guy. I know they lost to Chicago this past week, but I think they keep this game close. I think it's going to, divisional games are usually pretty close. I think it'll be a 1-score game, maybe like a 4-point difference. And I really like what Joe Brady has done with that offense. I think Bridgewater's looked really, really good so far this year. Robbie Anderson looks like a top receiver out there, and I know they haven't had Christian McCaffrey, but they haven't really missed a beat offensively. So I think they do enough to keep this one close.
Okay, I'm taking the Saints, but I don't feel great about it because the Saints have been underperforming this year, but they're off a bye, so I would like the same teams to do better off a bye.
Absolutely. So let's just run through quick recap. I'm on the Eagles -4.5. Joe is on the Giants +4.5. Both on the Bills -13 over the Jets. I like the Titans -1 over the Steelers. Joe is on the Steelers +1. Best bet, I have the Patriots -2 over the 49ers. Joe's on Chargers -9 over Jacksonville. My underdog pick, Panthers +9 over the Saints, and Bears +6. Joe, another week in the books. Thanks so much for coming on. We'll talk again real soon.
All right, Matt. Thank you.